What college classes have you used the most?
Um, I've used a lot of different college classes. I think I've probably used my construction management classes the most. I learned a lot about scheduling construction projects, dealing with contractors, dealing with negotiations, doing cost estimating. All of my math courses still are applicable to what I do today. I don't do any high level modeling, so I guess differential equations isn't super applicable to my life right now. um, but I feel like all of my college classes were pretty applicable to what I do on a daily basis, because construction generally interacts with all different trades and all different disciplines, and so having a general understanding of how other engineers are doing their jobs, doing their designs, is always helpful.
What skills have been most important to your career?
Um, I always joke that the engineers who go into construction are the engineers with a lot of personality because it's really less about the technical aspects of your education and more about your ability to communicate those things with people who might not be super familiar with what you're trying to do or with the project itself.
Why did you choose to become an engineer?
Long story. So I chose to become an engineer. Um, I really was interested in architecture initially. I used to build dollhouses in elementary school, and in my head I was going to grow up and do like architecture and build homes. That was really what I had in mind. In high school, I ended up going into a program called the ACE Mentoring Program, and through that program, I was really exposed to professionals in the architecture, construction, and engineering field. And I learned a lot more about what engineering was, and it really just seemed so much more attainable to me and also more interesting than architecture. I felt like architecture was more about the art, and engineering was more about the technical side. And I felt like I didn't want to develop my creativity, I wanted to develop my technical skills. And so I ended up choosing engineering over architecture as a major.
Why do you like your job?
I like my job because every day is different. I'm never going in and solving the same problems I've solved 100 times. It's always a new problem. I'm always dealing with new people, and I like dealing with people.
What is your typical workday like?
It really depends because my workday can be pretty different. There's been times in my career where I was full time working on construction sites, hard hat, vest, boots, side by side with a contractor. Um, and I probably will be doing that again soon. Lately, it's been a lot more office administrative type of work, negotiating with contractors, a lot of communication, a lot of documentation, and so it's important to have good organization skills and communication skills.
And what do you want others to know about engineers?
I think I want people to know that it's very doable. I think people tend to put engineering on this pedestal or feel that, you know, it's too complicated for them to understand. Um, but, you know, you don't have to be an expert at everything that engineering is to be an expert at something within engineering that like interests you. So it's doable.
And what ways has your engineering education helped you?
I mean, education in engineering is pretty fundamental. Like, you have to get a bachelor's degree to be an engineer. And I think it kind of creates this baseline in which all engineers are able to communicate from, so that even if you're not an expert in environmental engineering, you have some understanding to be able to have a conversation with an environmental engineer or a technical engineer and build a conversation and find solutions to problems based on that basic understanding.